So today is the first of what we plan to have be quarterly webinars about the Student Climate Research Campaign. The campaign officially launched in September of this year, and we now have 2 full months of participation, and everyone's gearing up and getting their data collected and doing their starting on their research projects, and we just wanted to share with everyone the progress that we've made so far. So today's webinar will summarize what's happened during September and October, and then early next year we'll have another webinar where we will talk about developments that have happened. Also, we will be archiving these webinars, and they will be available on the globe.gov website, and we will have information on where to locate those in this December's news brief that will be coming out later this week. So, just a short overview of what we're going to talk about today. I wanted to share with you who the participants in the climate campaign have been so far, talk a little bit about the science that's happening associated with the campaign, share with you some of the fabulous student projects that are underway, remind everyone how to get involved, and give you a little preview of what's coming in early in 2012. The Venn diagram that you see on the right probably looks familiar to you. There's 3 core components to the climate campaign, and participating only requires that you engage in one or more of them. The blue circle are intensive observing periods, and this is where we would collect data that's very important for studying climate. On the bottom, the yellow circle are foundational experiences, and those are primarily learning activities or things that can engage students to help them learn a little bit more about climate. And then the red or pink circle is the research investigations. And that's where we're really hoping to see a lot of students exploring their own local climate and creating research investigations focused on climate. So the participants so far in the campaign, we've had a great response. We're so excited that everyone has joined us in exploring climate, and I thought a lot about how we could display the information about who is participating. And the simplest way to do it maybe is not the most descriptive, but I think that it will give you an idea of who's participating and from where. The chart that you see on this page has each of the bars is one of the 6 globe regions. And what we have here are the percent of countries for each region that are participating in the climate campaign. Now, if you look all the way over to the right, North America looks very skewed. North America consists of the US and Canada, and we do have participants from both of those countries, and so it says 100% participation. If we were actually to break this down by state, which I'm not showing here, but it would probably be around 35% participation for the United States if we broke it down by state. I would really like to congratulate the Asia Pacific region. Half of the countries in this region are actively participating in the climate campaign, and we could not be more thrilled. I also want to acknowledge several countries who have really done a great job in collecting data for each of the IOPs. We had 2 intensive observing periods, one in September, the Great Global Investigation of Climate, and the second in October, which was the Climate and Land Cover. And the countries that are listed here were very active, entered their data, tagged their data. I'll show you all how to tag the data in a minute. And really are helping us get off to a really great start for data collection for the campaign. And data collection is so important because in order to understand climate from that scientific perspective, we have to understand what the conditions are now. So what we're doing is actually helping to set a baseline for future climate investigations. One of the things that we're really very excited about here in the Globe Program Office is the work and the headway that we've been able to make in order to engage scientists in the program. And some of you may have actually been contacted by one of our staff scientists who is trying to identify all the different scientists around the world working with the program so that we can engage everyone in the campaign. We currently have 2 areas of focus, just to start out simple. And as you may recall, we are doing the campaign in 2 phases. Right now we're in phase 1, where we're just doing a couple of IOPs. We're asking teachers and students and partners and country coordinators to engage in the learning activities, make sure you have all the instrumentation that you need. Because as you will see in 2012, when we have an updated website, we will actually have more capabilities to do even more with the campaign. So even though we may be starting a little bit slow, it's going to ramp up very quickly. We have 2 focused IOPs that are going to happen quarterly. The first one that we launched in September, was the Great Global Investigation of Climate. And the focus here is on air temperature and soil temperature as well, and precipitation. And these are the fundamental variables that define climate. And so it's so important that we have as many Globe students, Globe schools, Globe community members collect these data and enter them into our database as possible. And we're starting to use some of that data to pull out trends and identify climate baselines. One of the things that you can do if you're working with students is to actually do the learning activity where students identify what their climate classification is. You can enter that climate classification into the website and it will geolocate you on a globe, and you'll be able to see what the Köppen-Geiger classification is, and if you determined your climate classification correctly. And you can also look at other students around the world who've already entered it. In October, we had our climate and land cover project go again. This one I know many of you are participating in, and we've piloted this several times during 2010 and early 2011. And we are working with some off-site scientists in NOAA, and we will hopefully soon be adding scientists from some of the other US agencies. We're looking for some international scientists to take part as well. And this IOP is focused on the land cover protocol. You all have been doing a great job with taking your land cover photos. There's some examples here on the slide. Remember to take your photographs in the 4 primary directions, enter those data into the website, and scientists are pulling those photos out and using them to improve climate models that they're using. The other thing that I wanted to mention about data entry is that when you enter air temperature, soil temperature, precipitation, or land cover, when you get down to the bottom of the data entry page, there's a box for comments or metadata, and you'll notice that in red it says please check if you've collected this data as part of the Scrc. Please check that box. It will preload some information into the text box below, and we're using that to track and see who's participating and collecting data specifically for the climate campaign. The favorite part of this morning's webinar is the next slide, and I wanted to share this with you because this is just a sample of some of the student research projects that we are aware of. Now, I know that a lot of students around the world are working on climate research projects, and we want to be able to highlight them. And so I strongly encourage you to let us know. You can always email climatecampaign@globe.gov. You can always just email help@globe.gov if that's easier. But we want to know about what you're doing so that we can highlight it, so that we can give you feedback, and we can assist you in any way that you need. So some of the examples here, you can see a wide variety studying waters and ocean oyster production, pine bark beetle right here locally, looking at land cover, just all of these projects are locally specific. And so the teachers and students who have designed these projects have identified something about the climate where they live that they want to learn more about, or they want to investigate, or maybe it's a potential challenge. Like here in Colorado, we have a lot of pine trees in the Rocky Mountains, and because of changing temperatures, the pine bark beetle has infested and is actually killing a lot of the trees. And so we had a student here this summer working with our staff scientists trying to understand better why that's happening and using some globe data to help explore that. So again, we want to know about the projects that you're doing with your students, or maybe that teachers that you've worked with are doing. And if you pass those along to us, we can assist you, we can highlight them, but you need to tell us what you guys are doing so that we can make sure to help out. So I want to take just a minute to remind everyone how to get involved. It's not hard, it's very easy. We really want students to get involved and to look at some of those learning activities, maybe do the climate classification and share their climate classification through the online form. We can compare with each other. And we'll see soon. We'll probably be able to talk about those through an online mechanism. We're going to have IOPs, intensive observing periods, almost every month. And so if you're in the classroom and you need some flexibility, you could participate with whatever fits your schedule and your curriculum. Teachers, we want you to be involved. We would love to hear from you, the kinds of things that you need for the classroom. We have learning activities that are currently, 2 learning activities currently available on the Globe website. In February, we will have those 2 learning activities available in not only English, but Spanish, French, Russian, and Arabic. We have several more learning activities that are being finalized. Those will also be available on the Globe website in early 2012 in English, Spanish, French, Arabic, and Russian. Also, if you haven't done so already, you can simply join the SCRC by going to the SCRC webpage at globe.gov, globe.gov/SCRC, and select Join. It will ask you to complete a very short survey, about 5 questions. And what that does is it actually puts your name and email into our database, and we will provide you updates. The reason that some of you received the email invitation to this webinar was because you joined the SCRC. Others of you have expressed interest in the SCRC or our partners or country coordinators, and so we included you on the invitation here as well. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is that we need scientists. We know that there's a lot of scientists working with Globe, and we would love to highlight the work that you're doing if you would like that. I know that Jessica Macaro, one of our staff scientists, has been contacting a lot of the regions trying to identify who those scientists are, because in early 2012 we're going to have an exciting capability on our new website that's going to allow us to communicate much better with each other, both with scientists and students students with each other and teachers. If you're a scientist and you're working on a climate research project, we would be interested in talking with you to see if we could help support you by making it an IOP. Do you need global data? We could potentially get our Globe students to participate and make sure that they're focused on collecting that data for your project. Or if your area of expertise is in basic climate science or climate and land cover, and you want to participate in the GGIC or CLC, or you want more information about how to participate, send us an email at climatecampaign@globe.gov. And again, you can always email help@globe.gov, and they will forward that message to us. I wanted to give you a little preview of some of the things that are coming in early 2012, and I probably should have labeled this slide early 2012 because we're going to have a lot of changes next year. Starting in February, we will have the climate fact of the day. So very interesting information, trivia. You can wow your friends with your new climate knowledge. We're also going to be developing a climate challenge for students to get them more engaged in the Scrc. The third item that's listed here is one of the items that we're most excited about here in the program office, is that with our new website, we're going to have the opportunity to communicate with each other online in almost real time. We'll have discussion forums, we'll be able to have blogs, science blogs. There's going to be all kinds of great new capabilities on our website, and we're going to jump right in and use those right away with the Student Climate Research Campaign. We hope to be able to enable the ability to chat with a scientist, so if you would like to talk with one of the scientists that's working with the IOPs, we hope to be able to arrange a time when we'll be able to communicate directly in real time. And then just to remind you that we're going to continue collecting data, because having data to base our investigations on is very critical. So we're going to continue to have our intensive observing periods. The Great Global Investigation of Climate starts on December 1, which is Thursday. So get your instruments ready. Get ready to start collecting and entering data. And that's going to be repeated quarterly throughout all of 2012, but I've stopped listing them here until July because we'll be starting phase 2 of the climate campaign in August. And we will also repeat the climate and land cover in January and then quarterly. On the website, globe.gov, you will find summaries of each of the intensive observing periods where there's discussion about who's participated, what kind of science has been done, and what you can expect or how you can expand on the intensive observing period for the next time. So with that, I would like to thank you for participating in this first webinar on the Student Climate Research Campaign. If you have any questions, any feedback, please do email us at climatecampaign@globe.gov or at help@globe.gov. And as a reminder, on Thursday, the Great Global Investigation of Climate starts, and you can learn more about that IOP at the website that's listed there, including a teacher participation guide. If anyone has any questions, we'll wait another minute and please go ahead and type those in the Q&A box. Otherwise, we will sign off. So I'll just pause for a couple minutes here in case anyone has a question. So there is a question that came in. For people that joined in maybe a little bit late, will the PowerPoint slides be available? Absolutely they will. In fact, I think what we will do is we will post the PowerPoint slides by themselves, as well as a link to the recorded webinar. So if you wanted to listen to the audio that went with the slides, you could do that as well. The full webinar is what we're at about 22 or 23 minutes. But if you didn't want to listen for 22 or 23 minutes, you could look through the PowerPoint. So I'll make sure that we get those up. And I anticipate that we will have those up in about 3 to 4 days at the latest. There will be a notice that goes out in the news brief, the December news brief, which comes out right at the beginning of the month, and it will have information on where you can find both the PowerPoint and the recorded presentation. Thanks for that question, David. Any other questions? Okay then, I don't see any other questions coming in. I know some of you have questions, so please go ahead and send us an email, and we will talk with you again soon. We'll have another webinar in 2 or 3 months, unless there's a request for more frequent. So thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your day or your evening wherever you are. Bye-bye.